Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. We're very glad you're with us this morning. It's April 10th, 2026. Please note this event is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2007, I took over, started facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. This group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007 when the prior leader landed a job. In 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched careerusa.org to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon. If you see me in person, I always have copies with me. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team known as the PIT Crew, and you'll hear more about them in just a few minutes. Our agenda this morning is to start out with success stories. We'll then do our 30-second introductions. We'll do those, everybody who's here in the room, and then we'll do everybody's 30 seconds introductions online. We'll then share job leads if anybody is with us from Thomas Edwards. Then go to committee reports. We'll hear from the Interview Success Workshop, the practice interview team, and the career tip of the week. And then we'll hear from our speaker about the top of the hour. Well, we'd like to start the meeting off with good news. Do we have any landings to share? Any good news from anybody? Last week we had 2 landings, so nothing this week. Okay, we'll move on. All right, for everybody who's on chat, if you will, open up your chat box. Give us your name, tell us the position you're looking for. Give us your email address, your LinkedIn address. Give us 2 or 3 target companies we may be able to help you with this week. And then if you have companies that you have connections, let us know who those are, because maybe you can help somebody else who's on the call right now. So I'll put 30 seconds on the clock to get started. Keep typing away, put your contact information in, that'd be great. Okay, what we're going to do now is get everybody's 30-second introductions who are here in the room. So if you will, come on down, grab the microphone, and tell us who's here.
Y'all, my name is Tim Farrell. I'm an electrical design verification engineer seeking the same or similar work. I write computer programs that verify that circuit models in a computer are error-free before the big money is spent to put them into silicon. I'm looking for contacts at Amazon, BAE Systems, and Boeing, and I have contacts at Raytheon. My name is Tim Farrell.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning. My name is David Turner. I'm an HR systems analyst with deep expertise in SuccessFactors security. I make sure the right people and only the right people have access to employee data. I don't need any contacts this week. I can possibly help with contacts at PepsiCo. My name is David Turner.
Thank you.
Morning, everyone. John Hamer, Technical Project Manager. I lead internal and external project teams that deliver systems and solutions that optimize companies' investment in technology. I am looking for either a customer-facing project manager role in technology or and supply chain and logistics. I need contacts at RTX. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lindley Schroeder, a sales and operations director. I grow revenue by finding new clients, growing existing clients, and reducing costs. Grown revenue as much as 153% in 1 year. I am Lindley Schroeder. I'm looking for contacts at McKesson. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Ethan Johnson. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Texas at Arlington. I'm looking for a structural or civil engineering position. I would like contacts at a Piker Engineering or Hilti. And I am very new in my career, just starting, so I don't have any company contacts to give. My name is Ethan Johnson. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Polly Dunn. I'm a senior administrative assistant. I specialize in office management, onboarding, and creating workflows that reduce stress and save time. I'm currently searching for office manager roles, and my target companies are Edward Jones, M Financial, and BGE, and I do need a contact for Edward Jones and M Financial. My name is Polly Dunn.
Thank you.
My name is Eric Nowak. I'm a senior program and project manager leader. Find the truth in the data and bring results to the teams that I work with. I am looking for similar roles, especially related with data and analytics, and also with core enterprise and ERP systems. I'm not looking for any particular contacts. I have contact at JP Morgan. My name is Eric Nowak.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jamie and Santos. I go by Misha. I'm looking for talent acquisition roles or consulting roles that focuses on strategy and business processes. I'm new to the area, so I don't have any contacts, and I'm really open in my career search. So if anybody has any companies that really are good in those areas, then I'm open to that. Again, my name is Jamie, but I go by Misha Santos.
Great. Thank you very much. Let me just put it up there. Great. Polly, James Jordan can help you with, what do you say here? Can help you with Edward Jones. James Jordan. All right. For everybody online now, if you will, open up the little status bar at the bottom, raise your hand so I know who to call on you, and we will go through and do everybody's introductions who's online. So Miguel, you get to go first.
Hi, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. My name is Miguel Castillo. I'm looking for a VP or director in finance, deep expertise in financial planning and analysis with Fortune 500 companies. Need contacts at BNSF and CHC Helicopters, and I have contacts at American Airlines. My name is Miguel Castillo.
Thank you. Steve Rohan.
Good morning. My name is Steve Rowan. I'm a retired .NET developer. I've got contacts at Fiserv and the VA. My name is Steve Rowan.
Thank you, Steve. Marty.
Good morning. My name is Marty Upton. I'm a director of IT, head of security, primarily in the healthcare space. My job's not to say no and slow the business down, but to find a way to move the business forward while reducing risks. My name is Marty Upton.
No, you got more? Go ahead.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Mike.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Belzil. I'm a data analytics product leader. I help business leaders ring their performance bell by converting data into dollars. So I'm seeking a director of data products role based in DFW. Specifically, I'm looking for contacts at Keurig Dr. Pepper, Hershey, and Frito-Lay. So I have contacts at Walmart, Epsilon, and Circana. So my name is Mike Belzil.
Thank you, Mike. Ian.
Good morning. My name is Ian Steger. I'm a United States Air Force veteran transitioning out and relocating to DFW this spring. I'm a leader in enterprise scale transformations where I translate strategy to execution. And I'm targeting aviation and healthcare this week, looking for contacts at Southwest, American, and Texas Health Resources. My name is Ian Steger.
Thank you. Reagan.
Good morning. My name is Reagan Pace. I'm actually a recruiter at Thomas Edwards Group. We are connected to companies across the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We specifically help with their accounting, finance, HR hiring needs. We do also do IT. I don't focus on the IT side, but we do have contacts here at our firm that help with that specific business need for our clients. So yeah, just looking forward to getting to meet people and see if I can help with their job search.
Thank you. Sheldon.
Good morning, everybody. Sheldon Weinstein, based out of Cincinnati, and I help food and beverage brands earn their place on grocery store shelves and win with shoppers at retail. I've done that work across both large publicly traded as well as more entrepreneurial private equity or privately owned food companies. And I'm currently looking for my next senior commercial leadership role as a director to VP level in a medium-sized food company, a couple of target companies, Milo Tea, Generous Brands, T. Marzetti. Again, Sheldon Weinstein.
Thank you. James Jordan.
Yep, I'm James Jordan. I'm an Air Force veteran and a persuasive storyteller. I'm a sales engineer, and I make complex concepts easy to understand. Again, I'm James Jordan.
Thank you very much. Elaine.
I'm sorry, Aline. Did you say Aline, Jeff?
Yes.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everybody. My name is Aline Hutsano. I am looking for an HR role in human resources, specifically compensation and benefits, and also as an HR business partner. I have 21 years of experience in HR. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill.
Good morning. My name is Bill Allen. I am an outside sales executive specializing in industrial customers. I also have manufacturing experience, and I can provide double-digit growth for your industrial needs. My name is Bill Allen.
Thank you. Anybody else online I haven't called on yet? Rosina.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I am your Career Tip of the Week host, so I'll be back shortly. I'm looking for a position as a Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner or Senior Recruiter position, and I need contacts at a company called Access, AXXESS, TIAA Frisco, or T-Mobile. And I have contacts at a variety of different companies, so as we connect, I'll see who we can introduce you to. Again, my name is Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner or Senior Recruiter position. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Deanna. Deanna.
Hi, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was my name. Yes, hi, my name is Juliana Gocher. I'm transitioned to medical sales device industry. I just graduated medical sales college, and I'm looking at companies Stryker, J&J, and Arthrex. Thank you. I'm Juliana Gocher.
Thank you. Richard.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Rick Tutt. I'm an identity access and management engineer working with the Ping Identity Stack. I'm looking for roles similar to related to that have to do with installation, implementation, and support and troubleshooting in the DFW area. My target companies are American Airlines, Toyota, and Liberty Mutual. I'm Rick Tutt.
Thank you. Anybody else online? Last call. All right. Job leads. Thomas Edward Group. Tell us what's going on there.
Well, we've got about 100 jobs open right now. They vary across anything from a AP analyst to a controller or CFO. it got quite a few leads in kind of the Frisco, Plano area. So anything in the accounting space, that's kind of what I focus in on and specialize in. We have some HR roles as well. I know Alan reached out to me about, HR positions. So, let me know.
Okay, Reagan, thank you very much. Oh, did you get my message from Tuesday?
Me?
Yes.
I did not. Did you reach out to me?
I reached out to see who was at Frisco Connect on Tuesday.
Maybe Sarah or Sophie.
Reached out to Sarah, let her know that your LinkedIn profile does not have a phone number or an email address. So there's no way to contact you unless we want to direct message you. So
Tracy had shared that with me. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was an expectation, but I did put my email in the chat just now. So everyone should have that.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Walt Glass, time to hear from the Interview Success Workshop. Yeah, I'll turn it off.
Well, good morning. My name is Walt Glass, and what do I do to offer you some help in the job search? Welcome to all of you that's in the room today. It's great to see smiling faces here today. So I like to help people with interviewing skills. Everything we do in job search leads up to the interview. Your resume, your LinkedIn, your networking, all the work that you do is to get that interview, get that call. And so to have the interview. So this is why I focus on the interviewing portion of job search more than any other, because that's where the rubber meets the road. And so I don't know about you. Do you enjoy feeling like in front of people you might make mistakes and you might kind of look a little foolish and maybe not very smart? And do you enjoy that? I don't know about you. I don't like that. And so how can we get rid of that? So, well, it's in the preparation and practice for the interviewing. So I offer the Interview Success Workshop. It's free. It's very informal. It is not a mock interview. It is a learning interview. And what are we learning? Well, I contend that when we're hiring people, there's three things we're looking for. It's who you are, what you do, your backgrounds, your skills, experience, and how you combine those for how you can help. Because when they're hiring us, they're hiring us to achieve something, to get some results. Of course, we want to know if your personality fits, the likability factor, the culture. We also want to know that your background experience looks like you got the materials and the skills and hard skills and things to be able to do the job. But then it's like, how do we sell? And so I see a lot of interviews that just go over, I did this, I did this, I did this, and we don't sell what they're really buying. So the whole objective of the end of the Interview Success Workshop is to learn how to sell ourselves and to sell those three elements in the job search. Now you have to register to attend. On screen, there's a QR code that'll start an email to me and say, hey, I'd like to register for the workshop. Look at my About section on LinkedIn. It's about the workshop. It tells you the details, how it's handled, how we go through it. But it's very informal. You can stop and think before you talk. You can pause. I don't have a stopwatch on pauses. You can start over. So it's one of these things where it's okay. So I want to move you from simply responding to a question to selling ourselves in that interview. Be glad to help you do that. So I do it on Zoom. I have it on Tuesdays, 9 to 11 Central Time. I want to do 2 people at a time. You actually interview each other when we cover the 12 basic categories of questions. You get a question out of each category. I'll record responses, and then we will start talking about those after you get a video of your actual interview. I don't give you feedback on the video. You will see what you do, and you will know what you need to improve yourself when you look at your video. Glad to have you share and come and participate. Let's see. Is it interviews that we fear? Well, we better get in high gear. It's practicing that'll put us there so we can get that job and share Krispy Kreme donuts for everyone. Now, if you want to bring cookies and treats, that's okay when you land. If you want to bring donuts and things, but you get extra credit if they're Krispy Kreme donuts. My name is Walt Glass.
Thank you, Walt. All right. Dallas Pit Crew. Anthony, will you talk about it?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. The Dallas Pit Crew is a great opportunity to learn, grow, and develop your interviewing skill. The Pit Crew meets on Wednesdays from 1 to 2:41 p.m. on Wednesdays. And that's the first, second, and third and fifth Wednesday of each month. And on the fourth Wednesday, we meet online only. All you need to do is look at the address on there, dallaspitcrew@gmail.com, and send that in, and you'll get a response back quickly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony. It's a great way to practice your interviewing skills, and just watching other people being interviewed, you will learn a lot also. James, you want Polly's last name? Dunn, D-U-N-N. Okay.
Thank you.
Trying to keep up. All right, career tip of the week. Good morning, Rosina.
Good morning, Jeff, and good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. All right. This week's tip of the week is it's kind of long, and so in the interest of time for the speaker and everything, I'm just going to read the tips, but just know that under each tip, there are lots of hyperlinked articles when you are on the website. There are lots of hyperlinked articles that give you additional tips under each tip, if that makes sense. All right, so then this week's tip of the week is 25 tried and tested interview tips to land the job. And please keep in mind, out of all these tips, there is nothing that's going to supersede the fact that you need to practice, practice, practice for interviews. Practice and preparation are the key. So getting into the tip of the week, it's job interviews are considered one of the most nerve-wracking experiences in our professional lives. Yet to be successful, to bag a new job, they're a necessary evil. It's understandable to feel the pressure before your big day, especially if it's a job that that could better your career and lifestyle. And if it's your first interview, or if you haven't had one in a while, you may be wondering where to begin and how to prepare. Fear not, for we have top tips and tricks listed below to help you ace your interview. So before the interview, first, you want to research the company. Make sure you know everything there is to know about that company, or as much as you can. Second, you want to practice answering common interview questions. If you just take a list of common interview questions after you Googled them, or we have some on our website, take a look, just go through and practice them. It just gets the nerves and jitters out of the way. Third, you want to determine your worth as a professional. Always make sure you know what your position is worth in the particular area that you live in or reside in, like here in DFW. Fourth, you want to reread the job description. Everything you say, you want to tie back to that job description, how your experience works and can enhance the job based on the bullets that are on the job ad. Fifth, you want to make a few copies of your resume, especially if this is going to be an in-person interview. Now, interview day, you want to, number 6, be on time. I can't tell you as a recruiter how many times just a couple of minutes could literally make you lose an opportunity. Number 7, stay calm. Make sure you are taking care of those nerves. Number 8, ask for water. Again, we're possibly looking at you being in person, so make sure you ask for water, because there's nothing worse than dry mouth when you're trying to share your experience and how great you are as a candidate. Number 9, smile. It goes a long way. Number 10, explain any resume gaps. it's better to explain and wipe out any kind of thought process as far as maybe they took this gap for a certain reason. No, tell them exactly why you took the gap, and it will work in your favor. Trust me. Number 11, tie your answers to your experience. Like I said, there's lots of different hyperlinks under each of these bullets. Number 12, remain neutral. Don't be negative at all in any way, for any reason, not a negative word out of your mouth. Number 13, beware of your body language. Make sure you look at that bullet and even Google some of the different tips on how to handle your body language, because you could be sharing something that you don't see, but the recruiter does, or the hiring manager. Number 14, use the STAR method. It will keep you on track using STAR, situation, task, action, and result for every single response. Number 15, remain polite and respectful. Again, make sure you look at the different hyperlinks under each of these bullets. Number 16, show your enthusiasm. If you're excited about that job, make sure the hiring manager and the recruiter know it. Number 17, fake it if you don't feel it. I can't say much about that. But again, fake it if you don't feel it. Number 18, maintain eye contact. There's nothing more important than looking a person in the eye and telling them who you are and conveying it. Number 19, stay engaged. Make sure you're actively in the conversation, asking questions about the job so that they know you're interested in that job. Number 20, don't forget to ask questions. At the end of the interview, well, first, an interview. It's for you and the company. So at the end, all the questions you want to know about that job, you should be asking in that interview and throughout. But make sure by the end, you know the answers to all of your questions. Number 21, end on a positive note. However that works out, make sure you end on a positive note. Now, after the interview, number 22, you want to make sure you follow up. I mean, if you can get a thank you note out exceptionally quick, that is going to work in your favor. Number 23, ask for feedback. Let them know you're very interested and you want to have some feedback with that specific interview. Number 24, don't dwell on what didn't go well. You're going to get another shot, as well as if there's something you forgot to say, make sure in your thank you note you say it. And then number 25, be honest with yourself. If after finding out about this job and it's not for you, then let them know. Don't be afraid to turn down a job. You want to be in the right job. And then final thoughts, doing your homework on the company, practicing answering questions, and brushing up on your communication skills like active listening. And again, that's hyperlinked. So there's an article on active listening. They're all key to succeeding in an interview. So start early, give yourself time, and you should be able to make an excellent impression. I hope you guys really enjoy this career tip of the week. And again, it's titled 25 Tried and Tested Interview Job Tips to be able to land a job. And this article is produced by Career Addict. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Rosina, thank you very, very much. Today for lunch, we're going to go to Country Burger. Join us at 11:45 today, 3115 West Parker Road. It's on the northwest corner at Parker and Independence. Burger, salad. Come join us. We'll be there at 11:45. If you want to receive today's materials, you'll get a copy of the presentation we're about to see. You'll get a link to the YouTube channel that has a recording on it, today's recording. You'll get a copy of the career tip of the week that Rosina just read with all the details. You'll get a copy of the Zoom chat which I'll go through and edit and clean it up for everybody. To make sure you get it, if you're here in person, make sure that you've checked your name off on the roster. And if you're brand new, fill out the little slip of paper. And if it's legible, I will get you added to the roster tomorrow. Otherwise, I will wonder what I did wrong. For everybody who's online, please be sure to include your email address in the chat. That way I know you're with us and I'll get you added to that information. Here are the following people that I've not been able to find. So they just gave us a LinkedIn address with no way to contact them. So if you're on the list here, please put your email address in so I can get it updated. All right. Today, our main event, Mike Chapman is with us. He's going to talk about health insurance for job seekers. Mike has been helping job candidates for 15, 20 years now. I mean, it's been a long time. More, all right, if it's more, he'll tell us about it. But Mike will tell us a little bit about his background and then he'll share his presentation. So let me give him the microphone.
Okay, can everybody hear me? All right. I came out of groups like this after 9/11, when many of us were in the nuclear winter of job search. My prior career was in sales and marketing, came up through the ranks, became VP of marketing for a Fortune 500 company, CEO, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, 9/11, I become a single parent responsible for 2 kids. Any single parents out in the virtual audience or here, male or female? Well, I've been there. I've walked in your shoes. I know how hard it is to be a job search, in job search mode. And this probably isn't your last rodeo. So you're going to learn some things, but I tell you, this changes it is changing so quick. There's more disruption right now than any time in recorded history. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to unmute myself. Oh. All right. Hold on. There. I think I just found the problem. So I muted myself. So I have a feedback issue. If any of you can't hear this, we'll get going here in a second. And can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Well, we all know the famous 60-minute stopwatch, right? I'm going to now get this thing going and put it on slide share here. So give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, now can you see the full screen?
Can't see it yet.
What am I doing? Share?
Share.
Zoom?
Yeah, share. Allow.
And there.
No.
Okay, now we'll get going here with slide share. Sorry for this. I always present a problem for Jeff. He's had to put up with this for years.
You're not the only one.
Okay, we're going to go take it from the top. All right, Mike, how many times have you done this? Okay, so now you can see my slide. All right, so we're going to get this thing going here. We're going to rock and roll. You may not be able to hear the 60 minutes video, but or audio, but believe me, because if you don't want to listen to it, your ears would hurt from all the feedback. As Jeff mentioned, I've been doing this for a number of years. I've started to talk to you about my background. This is a passion project for all of us here that are involved in the career ministries in Dallas, Fort Worth, and throughout the U.S. This has been my life for the last 20 plus years. in I enjoy helping solve problems. And especially for job seekers, you must understand that you can spend the most important thing is I'll get into this in a second here, but I'm a broker in 18 states. You may be listening in from other states. I know what I'm doing. All right. Every year the rules change. Every month the rules change, and job search changes. Imagine what's happening now with all the disruption and the uncertainty with employers, which is why many of you are now looking for work. I'm going to talk about that because there's some things that you may not have heard from other speakers or other job search networks but I want to plant that seed in you and maybe make it a little bit uncomfortable. But it's coming from my heart because I want you to understand what a great opportunity you have to be alive and to be in this presence right now. From a health insurance perspective and life insurance and disability long-term care, individual, Medicare, you name it, I am considered a subject matter expert. I know my stuff. I help people. I take calls on the first ring if I'm not on the phone, which leads to kind of a schizophrenic life and existence. And, as I mentioned, I've been a job seeker. That's how I got into this. And because I became a single parent, the flame out rate is very high. I was fortunate enough to be able to continue with this. And I'll talk about that in a second. I was part of networking groups that included, C-level people and director levels from big companies, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times you're living in the past, all right? Jobs that may have existed that you were really good at, but you don't want to identify your worth with what the marketplace measures as your worth. Okay, you understand? You want to think about what your value is to employers and consider maybe there's other options for you versus finding a job similar to what you've done in the past, even though that is your best option to get hired is to find a job like your old job, because that's what your background and your resume is going to have. When you go to application trackers and their AIs, they're going to say, oh, this person has this skill, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean that's what you want to do. So here's my value proposition for you. I can help you get hired faster. I can reduce, and as a result, reduce your cash burn. Have any of you calculated your hourly, what your value is on an hourly basis? And what you're investing, whether you're online or in person, what you're investing in the hour you're going to spend or the hour and a half you're going to spend in this group today. Now, from a health insurance perspective, and many of you are looking at, all the different options, and it's a huge cost. And unfortunately or fortunately, we have a good healthcare system compared to other countries, but we spend an insane amount of money, trillions of dollars, more than any other budget item, including defense, on healthcare in this country. And that's going to be and it is being scrunched down because we can't afford it as a nation. We're all getting older. All right. And we have this, this belief in this country that healthcare is a right. But when you look at the healthcare that's available in other countries, I've studied healthcare in other countries, including Mexico and Europe, and traveled boots on the ground, interviewed doctors and hospitals. Yeah, they have a different healthcare system, but their population, their culture does not believe that it's all free and it's all, cover you cradle to grave and will cover you for everything. So it's going to change, and you must know that. But I do all this, getting back to your specific issues, I do all this at no cost. I'm blessed to have done this long enough. I can answer the questions quickly. I can help you I'll answer questions you don't even know you should ask. All right. That's really important because you don't want to go down this rabbit hole that I've been in for the last 23 years studying this. Now, I've been down this hellhole. Okay. I know how hard it is. I'm going to give you some suggestions here and some things to consider on how you can climb out of this rabbit hole known as a job search. First of all, let's do a real quick show of hands or virtual hands. And add a 1 if you've applied for a job in this past week. All right. Add another 1 or maybe 2 if you've had an informational interview this week. All right. How about a recruiter interview? Give yourself 1 or 2 points for that. Now, who's had a hiring manager interview? All right. Fewer hands go up. Now, who's had a second interview this week? Awesome. And who's had a job offer this week? Fewer hands go up. Virtual hands, maybe 1 or 2 there. I want you to think about that. Now, this was a published within the last 4 weeks. Who's heard of Anthropic? Who is intimately studying Claude and Claude Pro and Manus and some of the other awesome AIs that you all should be learning how to apply it to your job search? These are the fields. If you're in these fields, and you could include high price consulting firms, the $600 an hour, lawyers, salespeople, insurance agents, financial and investment professionals. These are all jobs that are vulnerable to artificial intelligence. And I'm bringing this up now because it's really important that you get to understand this beyond just using chat to find answers or, to compose an email or go through your job search. This is the most disruptive time in history. It's like the invention of the wheel or fire or, electricity. We are in that moment. This is going to change the whole complexion of employment over the course of the next 18 months. It is accelerating what can be done. Now, life is all about choices, right? Small choices you make today have big impacts for the rest of your life, whether it's with relationships, with jobs, declining an offer, accepting an offer, what you want to do. You can decide to adopt to this change, pretend it doesn't exist, or you can be out in front of it. All right. Anybody getting a little uncomfortable? Are you listening? Not just hearing, but listening. Okay, who's read this? If you graduated from high school, you've read this, right? Our valedictorian, that was the theme, 100 years ago for me. This is the best of times if you're looking for work, but it also stinks. There is never more uncertainty among employers. Maybe the Depression era. Okay, your great-grandparents or grandparents went through that. But there's also never been a better time to launch a new business. You can be out in front of this disruptive time in history. Now is the time, you have this time, you can invest in yourself and learn new valuable skills. And do it for you, not for your employer. Yeah, your employer's going to say, yeah, okay, you know this stuff, great, come on in, and then be back out on the street a year from now. Or you can learn this for yourself. Here's an example. Here's some of the things I'm learning. I have spent a lot of money, a lot of time as a result of getting totally wiped out during last year's open enrollment. All right. Whisper flow. add it to your phone. It will transcribe any conversation you make. And it will put it into Claude code. And when you start learning about Claude code and Lovable and Manus, you can learn how to be the person that recruiters and companies with jobs look for right now in less than 6 months. Some of the things that I'm working on that I have seen demonstrated to me that you couldn't do a month from now. When you develop Claude and develop your brain, if you will, you can tell Claude to go out and build a website, develop a social media presence, post to LinkedIn, post to Instagram, post to, and become the dominant person in your niche. But you want to make sure it's the right niche. But don't do it for your next job. Do it for you. Because this is an awesome time in history if you're willing to invest. Here's another example. It is so easy using some of those tools and Lovable to develop a mobile app. You do not have to be a coder. I'm doing this stuff. I'm a dinosaur. Okay, you saw me with my issues with my audio and reverberation and all this stuff. Now, this old klutz is learning how to develop an app that's going to help job seekers. All right. You can do this. You can do it a lot faster and better than I can. You can also, if you have a specific skill, you can develop a training course and have AI develop it for you and turn a hobby or a passion into a business right now and put it out there. And it's your business, whether it's a full-time gig or a side gig. That's how you develop some security, some income security that you can't get as a W-2. Now let's talk about whether a job search or being on the sidelines is an opportunity cost or an investment. All right. I don't know how much your salary requirements are, but here's how that breaks down. A $50,000 salary, when you add benefits, that value is $13.10 a week. If you're making 100 grand or had in the past made 100 grand, that's $26.20 per week based on, your numbers will vary, but you can do the math. 2,000-hour work year, 50 weeks out of 52 with a 31% kicker for benefits, that employers, that's usually what employers use. So did you get your money's worth with what your activities were this week? Did you? Is this hour, are you getting somewhere this kind of value out of this hour? Hopefully, I'm creating some uncomfortableness, but planting a seed for what you need to be doing or what you could be doing. Not need to. I know there's the income need. There's many ways to make money. All right. Don't think working as a W-2 for your next job, just like your old job, is going to bring you security, income security. Only you are responsible for your life. All right. An employer, you know that by now, an employer has no responsibility for you other than help them make money. You could also be making money for yourself. Those of you who are in a good marriage or living with somebody who is a life partner. When one person is on the sidelines, that person could be developing a second business while the other person is providing the benefits and the income and some security. And it'll flip-flop back and forth, and not that that's a reason you want to get married, but it is a way that you can be securing your future. So do you look at this hour as an opportunity cost or an investment? What is the opportunity cost of landing a job and then being back on the street an hour later, 6 months, a year, 18 months later. It's going to happen. Corporate America they've already started shedding those positions. Why? Because the AIs can do it better, faster, and cheaper. And that's life. You may not like it, but it ain't going to change. So if you're ever interested in considering some of this, man, I've been doing this a lot. Who has read The Turning Point by Malcolm Gladwell? Great book. Great book. The basic tenet is that it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert in any field. Mark Cuban, he interviewed all these gazillionaires. 10,000 hours. Well, guess what? That doesn't apply anymore. You can become an expert in 6 months if you apply yourself and be known across the social media and internet continuum on whatever you want to do. And then you are deciding what you want to do, who you want to work for, because they're going to come to you. All right, so think about all this. Now, let me tell you about insurance. You knew there had to be some connection with health insurance, or Jeff wouldn't allow me to come up here. Here's my story. Everything last year changed. New administration, new rules. Everybody waited to the last minute because they were hoping that Congress and the president, whatever, would extend premium tax credits. And so like this week, I was pulling multiple all-nighters, and it beat me up. It wore me out physically, and my customer service suffered. My advice and my support are important. There is no way, unless you work with a professional, whether it's me or somebody, there's a few others, but don't waste your time investing in trying to figure out the rules and regulations. Work with an expert who knows this, who understands what's happening. There's a ton of changes that are going to happen during open enrollment in the fourth quarter for 2027. So I was at a turning point, after surviving open enrollment, which actually ended January 15th for Affordable Care Act, and December 7th or Medicare, where I'm also involved with. I had a point, I could have, I don't want to, I could have retired or sold out, or I could have reinvented and reinvested myself. And that's what I've been doing. I genuinely love what I do. Let me tell you, healthcare and insurance is one of the most important, but also one of the most confusing, aggravating, and expensive problems for everyone in this country. My value proposition I mentioned is to help you get hired faster without having to deal with this stuff. But to me, it's a mission. It's not work. So here's what I've been working on. Personal development, more than just AI, and how I can apply that to my business, but also career development and growth. This is going to allow me to spend more time advising clients, provide better support and response time, and fewer all-nighters during open enrollment. And so I'm going to have more capacity to advise and help more clients. I'm also assuring continuity, and I have the opportunity now to mentor other agents. And I'd like to go back here for a second before going to this slide. I'd like to introduce Claudia Ramirez. Come on up here, Claudia, and let people see you. Yeah, Claudia's been working with me for 2 years. All right. She's a licensed agent. Now, 40% of the population in Texas and in many parts of the country, English is a second language. Claudia is bilingual, bicultural. Claudia grew up in Monterrey, Mexico. Imagine that, I'm not aware, I'm sure there may be, but imagine if the job search ministries were to extend their reach to that's 40% of the population that they're not reaching now because they're all English only. And many like myself, we're getting up there. So continuity for people like Jeff, myself, my colleague Walt, and other people, I'm urging people to consider continuity. So this great thing that we have all, my little piece, but everybody has contributed to, can continue and can grow and expand beyond our life. And also, I'm actively now recruiting other agents to mentor like Claudia. I also have a new and very progressive distribution partner, Ryan Peters, and his team, who probably is on the Zoom call, and he shares the same passion for helping and solving clients and problems, and he greatly enhances my agency's processes, and that's only going to get stronger. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. This kind of looks like me, right? Well, what you don't see, oh, wait for that. What you don't hear is and this is an avatar generated from Hey Gen. It could be a lot better. The audio isn't right, but this can be transcribed in multiple languages, whether it's my avatar or Claudia's or other people, to be able to, you could be doing this. You could be doing this for recruiters online, LinkedIn. And I encourage you to play with this stuff. This is like, I don't know, an hour and a half, late at night, fiddling around with this stuff to be able to see how this stuff works so that I can develop, and recruit and mentor other agents. Now, I also have another team member, Whaley Bouillard, who is on this call in the Dominican Republic. He's a full-time VA, college educated, multilingual, awesome person. So, I'm doing everything that I possibly can to make this a better world and to help job seekers, because this is a passion project, right? Yeah, it's a way to make a living. If you stick with it, it's an awesome feeling to know that you're not worried about losing a job or walking in some morning to find out half your team is riffed. Okay. This is super, super fun, but it's a different lifestyle. But if you find something that you're passionate about, it probably won't be this, but if there is something that really lights your fire, turn it into a profession. You can do this. All right. Also be having additional webinars on a number of additional topics, including, you don't know it, but Medicare, life insurance, long-term living solutions for those of us that may someday need help staying in our home, or at some point in there will be a series of webinars that people can listen to, and we're building all this out. I mentioned I'm implementing AI throughout the back office. It's going to so improve client responsiveness. It's not just going to be me, it's going to be Claudia, it's going to be others. We'll be able to really help you. And I promise you, the people that I recruit and mentor will have the same passion to do what's right, to put ourselves in the clients' and prospects' shoes, and not just try to make a sale, or it's not about what's best for the agency or the agents, what's best for the customer, but very few people get that. And I'll be able to serve people throughout DFW, as will Claudia. I tell you, it's like I could try my best to, because I don't have the cultural perspective of someone who speaks Korean or Japanese or Hindi or Spanish. They are less likely to know, like, and trust me than they would Claudia or other agents who have the same passion to serve. Okay, so enough of that. But I hopefully gave you some things to think about that will make this worth your time, because your time is expensive. John. Hey, Jen. Heygen.
The question was, what tool do you use for the avatar?
Yeah. Check out Heygen. Check out Manus. Check out Claude Code, which is more than just pro. It's a desktop app. It'll soon in Whisper Flow. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Claude. Now you can see more than just my nose. All right. So now let's get back to insurance, because I know some of you were here for that. Those of you who are under 65, there are no PPO plans, Dorothy. Okay. We don't live in Kansas anymore. We live in an era where you can get coverage for any and all pre-existing conditions. And when you go out on your own, this is important to know that you're going to have more risk in terms of medical out-of-pocket expense. You're going to have to look for your doctors. If you have key doctors, some of you may be blessed. You don't have to worry about doctors. You're not taking prescriptions, but most people do. I can do all that. Cloudy can do. We can help you through all those things without you going down and wasting $26.20 per week trying to figure out all the stuff that's taken years to learn and changes every time. There's also no PPO plans. There's only HMO plans that require a referral from an in-network primary care physician. If you don't have one, you'll have to make an appointment with a new one, and that new one will have to make an electronic referral to an in-network specialist. And the coverage area may be Collin County, it may be Dallas-Fort Worth, it may be throughout Texas, it may be limited to a specific hospital system. So that's all important. All right. So don't try to, if you do this yourself, think about the time investment. Also, and this is super important, there are again, new rules actually this one went through as of about October last year. There's very few special election periods outside of the open enrollment period. You have 60 days from when your coverage terminates as an employee to either elect COBRA or plan through the Affordable Care Act. And you get your COBRA option and you say, oh my gosh, that is expensive, right? But you only need to elect COBRA for that individual in your family unit who has expensive, life-threatening, and chronic conditions. You don't have to have the whole family. And COBRA dental, vision, COBRA dental, COBRA vision. You can sign up for that for a month. Use the little bit of benefit that's there. Use it up in a month, and then drop it later. For those that haven't had the filling filled, because the benefit is not that much. In individual dental plans, they're not as good as COBRA dental or employer dental, but it's something. But there's other options too. But here's important. Many employers will subsidize or pay for COBRA for 2 or 3 months, 6 months if you're lucky, right? Depending upon your exit package. Well, if you accept that offer without negotiating, leaving COBRA early does not allow you don't get a special election to enroll in a plan through the Affordable Care Act. So you'd have to stay through COBRA through the entire year for all members of your family if you accept that offer. All right. So think about that. Yeah, it's enticing to accept that free COBRA for a few months, but that may mean that you're going to be paying more than other options for the rest of the year. And yeah, there's so many permutations and combinations of things. So, try to figure that out for yourself. You're going to go down the rabbit hole, and you're going to be climbing up and wonder, what did I spend that expensive week doing when I could be learning new skills? Also important, this is new. You get a letter from your employer, maybe an email. You have to now scan that to a PDF that covered that termination letter, and you cannot enroll in healthcare.gov until that letter is processed. And it may take a week, 2 weeks. Right now is what it's running. It'll be longer during later in the year as you get closer to open enrollment, but you will not be able to get coverage in place until that letter from your employer that has employer logo on it, whether it's an email or letter in the mail, until that's in your plan through healthcare.gov. Cloudy and I can upload that, and get that done, get it going, and you'll know ahead of time. You have a form, it'll be coming up. You fill out the form. We'll get back to you within 24 hours with 3 options based on understanding of the market, what's available, your information, how much you make, how much you make, not last year or used to make, but what your household income for 2026 is estimated to be, your taxable household income. And since this is tax weekend, you should have a good idea of what last year's is. But it's 2026 that counts, and that includes all forms of taxable income, including unemployment income. So the form, you fill it out, take 5 or 10 minutes, put in the names of your doctors, your prescriptions, your income estimate. This is a secure encrypted form, and then we go to work and get back to you so that you're able to focus on your job search or learning new skills. So again, you can let COBRA, have it subsidized for so many years, but you'll have to stay on it for the rest of the year. Or within 60 days of when your coverage ends, you can enroll in a plan through healthcare.gov. It may be as or more expensive than COBRA, may have a higher out-of-pocket medical expense risk. Probably won't have all your doctors, but it is what it is. We'll help you make an informed decision. And there's no exceptions to this stuff. This is new for this year, and next year it'll be different and tighter yet. Why? Because we spend as a country an insane amount for healthcare in this country. And have you ever seen that budget deficit wheel? It go up, it goes around. You can find it online. What's happening? Look at what the cost of a gallon of milk or gallon, it's the dilution of the dollar and the printing of money is having a profound effect. At some point, everything's going to be shrunk, or we'll be sending wheelbarrows of money to the grocery store to buy what we need for our family. All right, so think about that, because it's going to change. Your health care is going to be more expensive. I say health care. There are so many things that we can be doing to improve our health. Lifestyle choices. Remember me saying those little decisions you make have profound changes for the rest of your life. The biggest thing you can do is take care of yourself. Don't expect Big Brother to take care of you. The world does not owe you living, and it does not owe you good health. I have clients with all kinds of serious medical conditions of all types. There are very few I haven't encountered or have encountered personally. I know how difficult this is to navigate this, but those things you can control, lifestyle choices you make, you can make them, and they will have profound impact on you now and in the future. So I mentioned the income equation. And as an individual, all right, in Texas because we did not expand Medicaid like other states have. And in Texas, the rules are you must have a taxable household income in 2026 of at least 16,500 in order to get what's called a government subsidy, possibly of your out-of-pocket medical expenses, but of your premiums. But 1 penny less, you're going to pay full. You can get coverage, but you're not going to like the cost. So 16, and then it goes out further. The more you make, the less of a subsidy you make. But this year, there was a cliff. I call it a cliff because the rules under the previous administration, anybody could qualify for, you could blink and qualify for a special election period. All right. That's not the case anymore. You could also, the government subsidies were extended far beyond what they currently are. Now, you have to decide whether you want health insurance coverage or you don't, but it's more expensive than it was last year. That's probably not going to change just given the nature. But what you can change is how much time you want to invest in dealing with this stuff. But just know that your options are different than they were. What they are with an employer, that may be if you have a spouse or you have serious pre-existing conditions, that may be a reason why you want to be on an employer. You want to find a W-2 job. So I have a number of clients that are super strong, super talented, working as bus drivers or Lowe's for the benefits. Amazon, they have an awesome day one healthcare system that you're eligible for. And, then they're working side gigs. So there's a lot of options you can make. Plans through healthcare.gov cover any and all pre-existing conditions. There's no limitations to the coverage. Wellness benefits, as long as you stay in network, like mammogram, PAP, colorectal exam, vaccinations, etc., are covered at no cost. And the only other plans that do this are plans through, if you're Medicare eligible, or employer plans. Other plans, you're going to be underwritten, and they will exclude pre-existing conditions. Those plans, I also mentioned the network area and that you have to stay in network, but there's also time delays you have to consider in terms of setting up new patient appointments. So, and employers are moving to this, every year or so, the number of employers that are offering group health plans, as these premiums continue to rise, every year a couple of percentage points are dropping. And with the disruption going in the market, more employers shedding jobs, more people like you and me will be seeking healthcare and insurance on your own versus through an employer plan. Pregnancy coverage through plans through the Affordable Care Act. If you are fortunate to be expecting a child, you could apply, but your application will automatically go to Texas Medicaid. Not a bad option. Just a different network. It's an HMO network, but really a better network than what's available through healthcare.gov. Also, children under the age of 19, certain income limits. Their applications, you put them in an application for healthcare.gov. Their application is automatically going to go to Texas CHIP or Medicaid. Now those, and I'm certified in Georgia, Illinois, and other states that have state-based plans, and some states have expanded Medicaid. Their rules are different. So what I spoke about here, Medicaid and CHIP, that is Texas specific. I have a number of clients I'm working with and have already, they bring their parents over from other countries because they're getting to the age where they can't take care of themselves. They get a visa. They qualify for a plan through healthcare.gov, but not Medicare. If you work 10 plus years or your spouse has worked 10 plus years, or your ex and you haven't remarried, or you're a widow and your deceased spouse has worked 10 plus years, you're eligible for Medicare. Great program, isn't it, John? But it's different. And many of us are working beyond 65. That's going to be more the norm. The rules for Medicare are insane, and you can miss opportunities to enroll or enroll in the wrong thing. So it's complex, but I'll make it as simple as possible. So, all right. So another tip: you have one member of your family, maybe two, who's unhealthy. That person may be better off with COBRA. The rest of the family, or maybe you have a student in college who's not living at home, doesn't want to live at home, or is going to school in another state or outside of a network area. If it's a large school, they may have a student health plan that's better than any plan through healthcare.gov. Or they have to get a plan through healthcare.gov where they're in the state where they're, or the area where they're living. Same goes for out-of-state members of your family, whether they're not a college student. So just like taxes, do not procrastinate. If you wait beyond 60 days, you're out of luck. If you have serious, chronic, expensive pre-existing conditions, you've missed the boat until open enrollment for 2027. Or if you are now realizing this for the first time, this is going to derail your job search, because that time invested is so precious, whether you're building new skills or whether you're applying for a job. You try to do this yourself, you're going to remember that rabbit hole picture. You're going to remain down there. Don't let that happen. There are some other options. If you have a student who is graduating and needs coverage for, let's say 3 or 4 months, they could get a short-term health plan. It's not going to cover wellness copay, have copays, or cover pre-existing conditions, but can bridge the gap until they're on their own. It's going to have a coverage maximum limit, so there is more risk. It might have a PPO network, but it may not be cheaper, but it's a way, use it as a bridge. Christian healthcare sharing ministry programs or similar faiths, they're out there. They're not as good as an option as they were in the past. They will exclude pre-existing conditions, but they won't reject you. It might give you access to a PPO network, but again, you try to weigh all these options. You work with a professional. Okay, now I'm going to shift to Medicare. There are 72, 73 million Americans who are on Medicare in this country. You may be working beyond age 65. Good likelihood you should. Hopefully it's in a job or in a career, or you're self-employed in an area that you're passionate about. It may not provide, if you're working as a W-2, it may not provide the job security that you may have had at some point in your career. But what's job security these days, right? That's a fact. You enroll in Medicare 3 months before turning 65, unless you're disabled, in which case, after 24 months on Social Security disability, you're eligible for a Medicare. You enroll in Medicare A and B 3 months before your 65th birthday, unless you're making a ton of money, or your spouse is, or you're remaining on a large employer plan. If you remain on an employer plan, you still want to sign up for Medicare for Part A only, because large companies, self-funded plans, the insurance company will go out and audit the claims if you have a big claim. And they'll, United Health, I didn't say that, reject that. You didn't hear that. But other insurance companies too, they will audit the claims. And if you didn't sign up for Part A but should have, guess who's paying for that portion of the hospital expenses? You. Again, Part A, if you've worked 10 years, there's no, or your spouse, deceased, widow, divorced, not remarried, you can enroll in Part A and B or Part A only. Let's see. And then another thing, COBRA isn't creditable coverage at age 65. So another important thing, if you are in transition and over age 65, you should enroll in Part A and Part B. You may already have Part A, but you need to enroll in Part B. Enrolling in COBRA, not a good option. It also is going to be most likely more expensive than your options under Medicare. And a Medicare A and B with a Medicare supplement plan G and a prescription drug plan, you're only out-of-pocket medical expense risk for the year, for the calendar year. This year is $302. And you can see any doctor, any hospital, anywhere in the country that accepts original Medicare. And then you pick out a prescription drug plan, which you can change every year based on the meds that you're taking, which will change and what the plans are. So there are special rules for people working beyond 65. Just let me leave it at that. And there's some thought within Congress that and this hasn't happened, so I'm not going to get in that. It's constantly evolving. We've got a budget crisis, inflationary crisis. It may be silent with price of groceries and gas. It may be making hard choices on where we cut, and I'm saying they, the politicians and regulators, where they make these cuts, but it's going to happen. Now, last year I had a number of webinars on YouTube. There are some that are still valid. This webinar is the most current. I try to be concise in the things that matter now. There will be a change this year, but when people seeing this later, for people under 65, the open enrollment period for 2027, it's a hard stop at December 15th. Last year, you could enroll December 16th through January 15th and get coverage beginning February 1st. No more. So it's going to require you to take action sooner, and there will be other changes unannounced for 2027. But this will be up there. You'll get the transcript, you'll get the deck. Some more tips for you. There's all kinds of ways other than your insurance plan that is offered by your employer or that you purchase on your own for prescriptions. GoodRx, awesome. Alternative pharmacies like Mark Cuban, Amazon Prime, CanadianMedStore.com. Call them. There are many generics, expensive medications, expensive branded medications in the US that are available in Canada. And the Canadian Med Score, it's an interesting story. They're a Tampa, Florida, Clearwater, Florida-based company that your doctor faxes or transmits the script to them, and then they ship 2-day ship from Canada medication. It can cut the cost in half for many, many expensive medications. Also, assistance programs. If your income is right now low, you may qualify using this Boolean search for prescription assistance programs, which every branded manufacturer has. The Boolean search is put the medication, the name of the medication, make sure you spell it right, with the word prescription assistance program, and put it in quotes, and it'll pop up. It's out there. And you have to work with your doctor, fill out the paperwork or electronic form, but it can really make expensive medications less expensive. My parents used to split pills. You can't split tablets, but that's another good option. Don't be cheap, guys. You don't want to be wearing a pink or blue ribbon because you haven't gotten your wellness exam, and personally, I'm a offender of this. I was too cheap to spend the $70 for PSA test, and the result, I'm proud to say after 6 years, I'm still prostate cancer free. So, but you don't want to go through a prostatectomy. Same thing goes with women. I have so much compassion for people that are struggling with the initial diagnosis, going through treatment, and I've been there. Quest Diagnostics, LabCorp guys, $70. Get your PSA test, or maybe your insurance plan will cover it. It's not very much. It can make a big difference in the quality of your life. And a lot of hospital health systems will offer free screenings. Sign up for Texas Health, Methodist, Baylor. Sign up for their newsletters. They'll tell you what those are. They'll have the mobile labs, and the hospitals will often have them. So don't be cheap. Invest the time to improve your health care. Also, from the Bible, the 7 deadly sins. Don't be too cheap to ask for help. Just like the pit crew, like Jeff, like Walt. Don't be too cheap to ask for help on this stuff. It can make a world of difference. But focus on what you do best. Let me tell you, trying to learn this stuff and stay up on all the constant changes and disruptions, your time is better spent elsewhere. So I've got a couple of QR codes, which seem to be the thing these days. If happy to help answer questions, but if you want to go ahead and fill out the form, I've got a QR code here if you're Medicare eligible, another one for Affordable Care Act, and other plans if you're under 65. Fill it out, put your information in. You may not know all the answers, but put in as much as you can, and we'll get back to you within 24 hours. And then you can go about your day serving others and solving problems for employers, or learn new skills, maybe learn a new career, maybe learn how to be independent and how to improve your health and to serve others around you. So I'll leave that up for a second. It'll be on the replay too. So, this is going to change. You can basically, if it's very easy to not know this stuff, you can go back through the replay if you want, and I hope you do. I hope I have caused some uncomfortableness, because what's the old axiom? Are you in sales? Yes. Everybody in job search is in sales. But what they don't tell you is that you are a commission sales. And what that means is that you have to measure everything by return on time invested. How do you want to invest your time? And you also want to be because you are a hunter, right? You are a sales hunter right now. You want to be investing your time for where your prospects are heading, not to where they may be now or where they've been in the past. Your job may have been eliminated because your job may be one of those jobs that have gone, careers that have gone bye-bye. That's okay. Reinvent yourself, reinvest yourself. That can be done. Or you can spend your time looking for a job, just like the past job that may have lasted a year, 6 months, 2 years, but that industry or that profession is being replaced by artificial intelligence that can do it better, faster, and cheaper. Or you can invest your time and over 6 months become the expert in that area, in that field. And then you can decide if you want to work for the man, which you may do for the benefits or the income, but you then have the perspective because other people will be knocking on your door. Other companies will be trying to recruit you, as opposed to being wondering on a Friday afternoon, what did I invest this precious time that I have this week? And how could I better invest my time in something that is going to be more secure, bring me personal satisfaction and more security than what I've done in the past? So that's my little sermon for today. Hopefully I made you very uncomfortable, but brought up some things for you to think about. And thank you.
Thank you. Questions? If anyone has questions, we have time. Questions here? Hold on.
What if I get signed up for Medicare at age 65 and then I get a job at age 66? Would it be bad to drop Medicare and sign up for an employer plan?
Well, there's no answer, good or bad. It depends. The employer may pay all of it or may pay some of it. But in order to do that, you want to drop Part B, and it's called revoking. If you decide to go on Medicare or on an employer plan, you want to revoke Part B, as in boy. And what that allows you to do, if then when you leave that employer's plan or it leaves you, then you're looking at, then you can reapply for a Medicare supplement plan and not have penalties assessed to you. It's smoother. It's a little clunky, but it can be done. But Medicare's a super program. I mean, Part B this year, unless you're making over 108,000 or 216 as a couple, it is I know, a couple $100 basically for Part B. And then a Medicare supplement, depending upon your age, may be 160, $170, and a prescription drug plan anywhere from $0 to $20. Super coverage, you only out-of-pocket medical expense risk, and you can see any doctor in the country. It's like $302 this year. So that's a hard thing. So from a job negotiation standpoint, when you're getting a salary offer, don't be afraid to say, look, I'm on Medicare. I'm not, and they can't ask you this because they'd be breaking a labor law, multiple, but you can say, look, I deserve this much more. I'm not going to be on, I'm on Medicare. I'm not going anywhere, but also you're saving this much money and they don't want you on their plan. Why? Because it's claims based. The more claims the employer has, and they scrutinize those claims, believe me, because they're all getting hammered by costs. If the ideal candidate for an employer is a healthy 65 plus year old person who's not on their Medicare, who's not on their employer plan, that's like free money for the employer. No claims risk.
Other questions?
I don't really have a question, but I've got an answer. Right before 65, I'm on Medicare, have been for 5 years. And it is good. There's a lot more coverage with that than if I had alternate insurance and benefits. And I do have an agent that I can just call her.
Yeah.
But I did in the beginning call Medicare, and I asked that very question because even back then I was looking for a job. And I said, okay, so I'm on A and B. And so what if I got a job and then they had pretty good insurance and I decided I wanted to go with that? Then what? And they said, no problem. You just pause it. That's all you have to do. And then if that ends or you stop working or whatever, at any time, you can unpause it. That was their answer.
Yeah. And also, where I see it makes sense to go onto the employer plan by pausing or revoking Part B. That is for, like somebody pulling down $400,000 or $500,000 as a household income because they get assessed a Robin Hood tax known as IRMAA, IRMAA, that anybody is an individual for 108,000 couple 216,000, they get hammered, and that's individual. That's each person. So somebody making $500,000 a year, they may be paying another $1,000, husband and spouse, or more for their Part B. And that's usually the one thing that keeps people on employer plan. Other than that, I mean, that covers about 90% of it. Yes, David.
Hi, thanks for coming, Mike. This is good information. If we are doing COBRA coverage and come to the end of the allowable period for COBRA coverage and are not 65 yet, is that considered a qualifying event for being able to sign up for ACA?
Yes, that is one of the few remaining qualifying events.
Okay.
So 18 months of COBRA,
right,
and then Affordable Care Act, bridge to employer plan, bridge to Medicare.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I had to do that. I had to go 5 months on HCH before I could jump on Medicare. Another hand over here.
So one thing you can tell a potential employer, and Mike and I talk on the phone on a regular basis, unsolicited commercial for him. Everything he says is absolutely true, and he's great to work with. I've worked with him for at least the last year and a half. Even before I had my own insurance, he's helped with other relatives of mine that needed help and care. But one
And I
thing,
didn't pay you for that.
no, he didn't. Yeah. But trust me, a huge amount of help, and we'll take your call almost at any time, and especially if you're down to the wire on some things. But my point is, though, is that with a potential employer, what you can tell them is that I have insurance through my spouse. You don't have to tell them you're on Medicare or Medicaid, not Medicaid, but on Medicare, that you're over 65. You just say, you can negotiate, more salary because I don't need to be on your plan because I have insurance through my wife's plan. And that's a true statement.
Right.
Right. The other thing I've found is that in my particular instance, my cost is quite a bit less. Okay, so I'm on Medicare just recently, though. My cost is significantly less than what it was costing me for even just myself and spouse plan through my employer insurance. I thought it was pretty expensive, but it's quite a bit cheaper. So
let me piggyback on this, because here's another job negotiating strategy. You don't have to be 65 to use that. I have coverage to my spouse. If you find that a plan through the Affordable Care Act is less expensive. Okay, now the sneaky thing that can get you in the door, and then during the company's open enrollment in the fall, you can go onto their health plan. So you heard that one here. That's a good tactic to get a little bit of an edge over equally qualified candidates, and they're trying to make a decision based on what you can do for them, but also how much you're going to cost.
I got a question online.
Question online, go ahead.
Yep. So so I'm not to Medicare age yet, but I am a retired veteran. And when I get to Medicare age, my TRICARE, that becomes my supplement, right? That would be quote unquote kind of Part B. So I wouldn't need Part B. Is that accurate? Is that an accurate statement? How do you know how that works?
Yeah, there's multiple, and thank you for your service. You're probably tired of hearing that, but it comes from the heart.
Appreciate it.
There are multiple options through the VA. Some VA offices and branches have people that can answer specific questions about, long-term care, VA benefits like prescription drugs.
Mm-hmm.
TRICARE for Life is an awesome program that, you deserve. There are other plans and programs that you may want to consider that can supplement that, but you will need Part B.
Yeah, because my understanding is once I turn 65, TRICARE becomes a secondary, where
Correct.
Medicare is a primary. So I was thinking that the TRICARE becomes kind of a Part B, but like I said, I'm just trying to
No,
understand.
it's kind of, you still need Part B, but it becomes supplementary to Part B. And so you don't have to pay for the supplement, but like everybody pays for Part B unless you're Medicaid eligible, and then the state and federal government subsidizes it.
Okay. All right. I have to get more information. Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Anybody else online have a question? Okay, here.
This is Walt. I want to double down on Medicare at age 65. I didn't know that information when I went on Cobra, and I found out that I was paying Cobra prices and I was getting Medicare benefits, which means instead of getting $65 for a claim, I was getting $2.75. They said, okay, we don't have to pay any more than Medicare pays for, just if you are eligible for Medicare. You don't have to be on it. And so I learned
Part A,
that.
that's
I
correct.
learned that. So when you turn 65, you want to get on Part B.
Yeah. But you do want to have a Medicare part, you do want to have a Medicare card, Part A only.
Anybody else? Question online from anybody? All right. Well, Mike, thank you very much for being with us today. We'll get this presentation out there. Was there another hand? Oh, hold on. No. We have plenty of.
Thank you, sir. How much does it cost to work with an agent? I presume there's no cost if you don't, but if you choose to work with an agent, doesn't that cost extra money?
Great question. If any, and this happens in the Medicare field, people will charge rogue unlicensed people that aren't licensed will charge a fee to go through Medicare. But any agent, a licensed agent, would risk their license if they were to charge for Medicare, or you pay the same amount regardless of whether you do it yourself or at healthcare.gov, you work with an agent. Some agents are better than others. A lot of agents wash out and they're doing something else. But work with an experienced agent like you have, who knows this stuff. And we get it. It's a bunt singles business, okay? But it grows, and you develop great relationships with clients that last a lifetime, and they'll support. A good one will support and advise you, answer your phones, and trying to stay up on all these crazy rules, help you decide, what doctors are in the network or prescriptions. Why waste your time on that stuff? Work with an agent. Doesn't have to be me. I can be a stinko. Some people don't like me, believe it or not. Yeah, there's no cost. It's just like your real estate agent. We're paid a commission by the insurance company. Now, some agents will push one company or another, or call center agents can only push the ones that their call center has. But an agent, a multi-carrier agent, who has a decent amount, they're not going to, a good agent doesn't care about them or the company or bonuses an insurance company throws out. They're trying to fit you in the right plan regardless. But you pay the same amount whether you work with an agent or not.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, I'll share a few more slides and we'll get out of here. Let's see here. Next Friday, our speaker is Sherry Berdart. She's going to talk about age-proof your job search with, I wonder what I cut off. I don't know. I'll have to go take a look, but she'll be with us next Friday at 9:30. Yeah, come on, computer. This presentation will be uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel. When you go to it, click on playlist when you go to the channel, and then in the lower left-hand corner where you see view full playlist, click on that. And when you do, up will come a list of all the different presentations we've had over the last several years, and you can go back and watch any one you want at your convenience. Just remember that the speaker usually starts about 30 minutes into the video, because I do start them at 9:30 every time. Next Tuesday, for LinkedIn Tuesday, Kurt Vondermatter will be with us to talk about recruiter from LinkedIn from a recruiter's eye, how he tries to find you. Next Wednesday, the practice interview team will be meeting in person right here at Christ United Methodist Church at Coyton Parker in Plano from 1 to 3 o'clock. And then next Friday, age proof your job search next Friday morning. Coming up after that on the 24th, the one-page bio with Minna Brown. I know that's always a really interesting presentation she's got. Well, I look forward to age proof your job search next week too. That should be a good one too. So come join us in the next couple of weeks. We've got some really good presentations coming up. Today we're gonna go to Country Burger about 11:45. Hopefully we'll be there by then. Come join us. How many people think they're gonna be there? So we know how big a table to get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So make it for 8. Whoever gets there first, look for a big table in the back. For everybody else, thanks for joining us today. And if you haven't done your taxes, I know what you will be doing this weekend. If you have done your taxes, you'll be in good shape. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week.